tough times in coming months. Thank you.
Honourable member for Burnaby South.
The Prime Minister's own former economic advisor has raised concerns of increased household costs because of interest rates going up. He says an average family with a new mortgage before today's new increase could see an increase of $11,000 in extra costs to their annual budget. Most families do not have the ability to absorb that kind of hit. When will this government help families that are reeling with the shock of increasing interest rates?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we know how much families are concerned both with rising prices right now and with the specter of increasing interest rates that are going to continue to put pressure on their mortgages, on their savings. This is why we're taking action right now in a targeted way to ensure that we're supporting millions of households, millions of families with GST rebates, with help for dental care, with help for low-income renters, and we're going to continue to make sure we have the capacity to respond if the economic situation worsens for Canadians over the coming months.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, record inflation is a choice for these Liberals after causing it with the $500 billion of inflationary deficit, much of which has nothing to do with COVID. They blame everything and everyone else. The Bank of Canada governor says that inflation is homegrown. Another past one says that it's domestic too. And now struggling Canadians are facing yet another rate hike that makes a bad situation worse. The Prime Minister isn't letting up. He's raising taxes, and worse, he's still spending. Canadians know how we got here. They just want to know how he could be so irresponsible.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, record inflation is hitting families around the globe, but that's cold comfort to Canadians who are struggling as well, which is why we are stepping up to directly support them with a GST rebate, with direct help for low-income renters, and for dental care. My question is, and the Canadians' questions, to be quite frank, is why are Conservative politicians continue to stand against dental care for Canadian kids, stand against support for low-income families? These are things that would help people tangibly in the months to come, but Conservatives are not just not supporting, they're actually actively trying to block them.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister will have plenty of opportunity to ask questions in the future, but he doesn't get it. They told Canadians that interest rates would stay low. They told Canadians that we'd have deflation, not inflation, and that it would be temporary. They spent $500 billion. That's more than every Prime Minister in the history of this country combined. They flooded the market with cheap cash, and they said, don't worry about it. And now the Bank of Canada is cleaning up their mess by raising rates. Will he finally pull his weight around here and stop fueling the fire that he himself has lit?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
It takes a special kind of Conservative politician to talk about initiatives like the CERB and the CEBA as flooding the market with cheap cash. Mr. Speaker, we are there to support Canadians in a direct way, as we had their backs during the pandemic, as we continue to have their backs right now with the high cost of living. We're always going to be there to support Canadians. Why aren't Conservative politicians stepping up to support Canadians on dental and rental care?